What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Pot at the Palace postgame show here from American Airlines Center after Arkansas's 72-67 loss to number 8 Baylor. A lot to unpack here. Arkansas, I think the best way to sum it up, John, Arkansas has a lot to work on. We know that's the case, but they also lost to a top 10 team by only 5 points. So can be a little bit ticked off about the result because you think it could have gone differently or they could have played better. But at the end of the day, you didn't play anywhere near your best game, and you were within a couple shots there of knocking off a really good team. So frustrating, but that's where we're at. So let's talk about it.
Yeah, I think frustrating is the right word because, if you think about everything that's happened with Arkansas over, the course of the past few weeks, past few months, the expectation that's been going along with it has been extremely high. And all of us have been thinking, okay, this is a team that's good enough to go to the Final Four, good enough to win a championship. And I still believe that. But you mentioned the term frustrating. That's what I think it was. It's like you see flashes of like, man, this team's so much fun to watch. They got players like Aduthier, like, man, this guy can play. But then they just had stretches where their offense wasn't any good. Yep. And then they had stretches where their defense wasn't any good. So it's like if they could just figure out a way to put it together a little bit, it would be so much better off. But that's just the problem is you see it, it's there, but they just have yet to really put it together. And we're in game 2. You mentioned it, a top 5 team. It's not the end of the world. I know Kentucky fans probably in the chat right now just blowing it up, but listen, it's one of many games left. Frustrating, but you had your chances, you just couldn't come up.
Yeah, man, just the inconsistencies of a new team and a young team early in the year. That's what you're going to get. And like we said, you can't take into account so much of these early results. Baylor loses by 40 or whatever to Gonzaga. Arkansas is up and down that game against Lipscomb. Thought both teams would play quite a bit better. Baylor definitely played a lot better. I don't know how much better Arkansas played, but they were right in the thick of things there. The zone, I think, really threw Arkansas off in the first half of this game. Didn't look good, man. Didn't look like they were prepared for it at all. Not a lot of movement, just kind of playing hot potato around the perimeter. Weren't knocking down shots, and I think they were fortunate to only be down 8 at halftime. To Coach Cal's credit, I thought that he really made some good adjustments in the second half. A lot more movement in the zone, just basic stuff, getting guys moving and cutting. That way the defense for Baylor, they had to communicate. They had to pass guys off through the zone, got them in some rotations, and you started finding a lot more success. They were getting the ball into the paint. They were scoring around the rim more. Man, they were getting good looks from 3. They just can't make them.
I know.
So the offense was improved against the zone in the second half. So that's a positive takeaway from it, that they were able to make some adjustments and get some looks. But then the defense would kind of falter. And it was really a game of runs. The problem was Baylor was always the team on the hot side of that run, is they were either increasing their lead or stretching it back out. And Arkansas seemed like they were always fighting from behind. I'm not sure that they led this entire game. I know they tied it a couple times. It was almost like Arkansas had to expend so much energy to get back into it, and then there would be a timeout. Baylor seems like every time every time they came out of a timeout, it seems like they made a 3 or a big shot or something. Arkansas got to the top, but they could never get over the top in this one.
Yeah, that's the way to put it, is that they kept fighting back, and you got to give them some credit for that. For what it's worth, they did fight back. They could have gotten the doors blown off of them, but you saw the talent come into play. Again, Aduthier was incredible tonight.
He was.
Cramping up there a little bit on that big dunk, which was a little scary because it looked like it was an ankle injury at first, but luckily it was just cramps. But, you just, like you said, that the three-point shooting, we know that this team is not built just to be a great three-point shooting team. We know that. There's still got some guys that can, but it's got to be better than this. When you get wide open looks, you got to hit them. Arkansas, they had some wide open looks, and they just didn't hit them. And that's what's frustrating, because Baylor, on the other hand, again, they didn't do great from 3, but that one stretch where they hit 4 or 5 was really
changes the game.
Yeah, it changes everything. And I'm not saying this is the reason Arkansas lost, but even that 3-pointer right there before the half that Baylor hit, I mean, that huge one type of play just makes a huge difference in this one. So, yeah, frustrating. A lot of things to work on. Still need to get Jonas Adu healthy, ASAP. But I'm not concerned. I'm just disappointed that it didn't really go. Arkansas did not take advantage of the things that were given to them.
Yeah, missed opportunity, man. That would have been a really, really good win for the resume. It's certainly not a bad loss and something that you can't recover from by any means. But man, you really would like to have that one. But yeah, it's true, man. I mean, what was Arkansas from 3 in this game? Like 5 of 20. That's just, it's not going to get it done. And we can continue to talk about how we think they'll get better, and we think this guy's going to shoot better, that guy's going to shoot better. But they just haven't done it through a couple exhibition games now and 2 regular season games. I have to do the math, but there's something like 22 of 87 or something from three through those 4 games. That's not good enough, man.
Nope.
They got to start making them. It was good to see Boogie Flan get the lid off
Yep.
a little bit. I think he made maybe at least 3, so he was knocking them down. But the other guys have to follow suit. The Arrow might have been the only other guy that hit a 3. So, and then, Baylor is a team who we thought would be a really good three-point shooting team. They had multiple guys who shot over 40% last year. And they got hot for that stretch. But at the end of the game, you hold them under 30% from 3, you should win.
Yeah,
I thought Arkansas would have more success in the paint, especially, and this is something that frustrated me. They got Norchad O'Meara 2 fouls in the first few minutes of the game. And Baylor left him in because they don't have any options behind him. And Arkansas was just out there settling for three-point jumpers instead of attacking the rim and trying to get that third foul on him. You're either going to get layups because he couldn't afford to foul, or you were going to get the third foul on him, and that would have completely changed the complexion of things. When he wasn't in the game, it was a completely different type of basketball game. And honestly, it was despite some of the troubles that Arkansas is having inside on the interior right now, just in terms of physicality. This was not a good matchup for Big Z tonight. I said that in our pregame that they went out this morning. Him guarding Norchad O'Meara is just not something that's going to be beneficial for Arkansas. But he didn't have a choice because you have Trevin Brazile, who I thought, given the circumstances, Trevin Brazile, not the most physical guy in the world. Norchad O'Meara, one of the most physical players in the country. I thought he did a decent job considering that. And Adu's just not healthy. He's not close. And you had him in there for some minutes, and he gave you what he could, but he's just not there yet. You mentioned it. They have to get Jonas Adu healthy. Changes everything on the interior, changes a ton for what they can do defensively. And he's also a threat inside the paint as a scorer on a post-up, and Arkansas just doesn't have that right now without him. And you see the guards have to carry all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, you even saw there was a play there when Jonas Adu did get in. It looked like they were trying to throw him an alley-oop, and he didn't get it. But you could tell, like, that's not his vertical. That's not like his full-strength vertical. If he's healthy, he's able to make plays like that. And it's not an excuse because, you should have, not saying you should have won this game, but you had plenty of your chances and opportunities to win this game. But, getting Adu healthy is crucial because, as you mentioned, the inside presence, the lack of physicality, the lack of strength. You like Brazile and some of the things he can do. You like Big Z and what he can do at times. But those guys just aren't known for their physicality. And it showed in a game like this. And until they get Adu healthy, I'm sure it's what a lot of these teams are going to be focusing on. It's like, hey, try to force Arkansas to shoot threes and go inside and be physical with them. That right now is the recipe to beat this team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, they're going to see his own defense again when they play Troy, next week. It's coming. So, again, I was happy with some of the adjustments they made and the stuff that they're running in the second half, but it doesn't matter what you run if you can't make shots. And then if you're not making shots and you don't have a post presence to score it around the rim, it's tough when you're relying on your guards to just make plays off the dribble constantly. And I think that's why we're seeing some struggles with the offense. I think they shot like 41% from the field and 25% from 3. The fact that it was only a 5-point game is honestly kind of impressive considering that, I guess. But, positive, Dude the Arrow looked like a pro. Phenomenal in this game. Boogie Flan had some really good moments. He got off to a slow start. It's just some things he needs to work on as a lead guard, but I think he settled in nice. He made some big shots down the stretch. That's good. Billy Richmond, again, gave Arkansas some really good minutes, man. He's tenacious out there. And honestly, he was part of the reason why Arkansas was almost in blowout territory in the first half. And then, it was Billy Richmond and Jeremy Roach that got into it. And all of a sudden, Arkansas was playing pissed off for a while there, and they got rolling and came back and tied it. But it was just one of many runs like that where they really got aggressive. If they were turning Baylor over or getting rebounds and playing on fast break, Arkansas was lethal in transition, man.
Dude,
but
that's their best.
You get him in the half court, it's tough sledding for him right now.
Yeah, and see, that's what's every time they had the ball and they're bringing it up court and it looked like they had numbers, you almost got excited a little bit because you're like, okay, this is going to be something. Yeah, this is going to be something. That's what they do. That's what they're best at. But the problem is, again, you're not always going to be in those situations. The half court's got to get worked on, and again, it's fixed. These are fixable issues. It's not like, okay, well, this is just how it's going to be. This team is terrible. They're never going to be the same. But you don't want to lose. But I'm still feeling like until we see a greater body of work and what this next stretch, I guess, of 4 or 5 games that are very winnable games, all at home, we'll see what they get to work on there too. But I
am growing increasingly concerned about the shooting. They're not going to shoot 20% or whatever all year, but it's just, this might be a liability for this team until proven otherwise. And so I think that's something that we can look at big picture now and start going, well, like how much better is this going to get? Because we've seen with Eric Musselman teams in the past, like how limited that makes you with everything else you're trying to do offensively. You're so good at getting to the rim and attacking and playing above the rim or getting out in transition. But man, if you can't knock down threes, it takes away from that. So really want to see that pick up. But yeah, outside of that, I'm pretty encouraged.
Yeah.
This is how it's a measuring stick game,
Yep.
and they measured up okay despite some of the flaws. So that's good. They got to get some guys going though. Nelly Davis did not play well tonight. I don't know what was going on there, but he was benched for long stretches in the first half. I think he got 2 fouls, and maybe that was part of it in the first half. And just the shot wasn't falling. I like some of the adjustments they made to get him touches inside the arc because he's so crafty and strong and athletic. He was getting to the free throw line, so he was making something out of nothing when it wasn't his night, which is good, but he wasn't as impactful defensively as he has been. So you really got to start getting him going because he's a catalyst. If he's not your best player, that's worrisome. DJ Wagner, man, like there were times where he was explosive, getting to the rim, disruptive on the defensive end of the floor, and then he just makes some turnovers that killed you late in the first half. He's got to clean those up. He didn't turn it over much at Kentucky last year. He was like a 3-to-1 assist to turnover guy, and man, he's had some untimely mistakes, and they kind of go in twos for him. And he had 2 there in the first half after they came back and tied it. That helped Baylor extend it back out. You got to get those guys going. You got to get Jonas Adu healthy. When you get all these guys clicking, you got a pretty damn good team.
It's beautiful.
But when you don't, especially when you don't have a lot of depth on this roster, it puts you in a bind because that's part of the challenge of building it this way is if you hit on everybody and your evaluations are right and the guys are playing well and they're healthy, you got a heck of a squad. But it only takes 1 or 2 guys to have an off night or maybe not live up to expectations. Then you look at it and you go, ooh, they got some holes.
Yeah. And by the way, just to do a little box score here, that you had, of course, Boogie Flam played the most minutes, 39 minutes in this game, ended up with 5 of 13 from the field, 17 points, had 5 rebounds, 7 assists for the kid,
nice,
as well as a steal. So that's
how many
great
turnovers
to see.
did he turn it over at all?
He had 0 turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, that's
effective.
really good.
I feel like that's pretty good. A good ratio there. 38 minutes there for DJ Wagner. Did go 4 of 10 with 8 points, 0 for 3 from 3. Did have 4 rebounds there, 3 turnovers, as you mentioned, but did have a block and did have a steal. But it's a Duthiero, dude. That guy, 31 minutes of play, 24 points, 10 of 15 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 2 of 4 from the free throw line, added 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 block shots, 1 steal, did have 2 turnovers and also 4 personal fouls, but very efficient game there from the Duthiero, man.
Yeah, that was really good. It's really impressive. I know it was Baylor's guards that were really leading the charge for them early in the game. We know Jeremy Roach is really good and he was solid, but Jaden Nunn was he really, really was cooking, and he averaged double digits for him last year, but I don't know that anybody thought he was kind of a takeover guy like he was for stretches tonight. But I thought they did a little bit better job on him in the second half. But then there was that one play where they're trying to double off onto the post, and they leave him, and he's wide open in the corner for a 3. And it's like that's not the guy that I would actually double off of. So, and then Omier, he probably had a double-double or close to it.
He did have 15 points, 12 rebounds.
He's so physical. Arkansas needs a physical presence like that, or they just need Jonas Adu to be healthy and in there because they didn't have anybody to match that. You can put the arrow in there, and he's got the athleticism and the strength, but he's given up like 25 pounds. Big Z and Trevin are so tall and long, but all he's got to do is get into their body, and he's pushing them right underneath the rim. There was nothing they could do about it. But you got to get more from Big Z, man. He was just hanging out in the middle of that zone in the first half, and I'm basically screaming from press row, we're not supposed to do that, but it's like throw the ball in there to him, and then they finally do it, and he puts it on the floor and turns it over right away. Like you just got to turn and use you can reach up and touch the rim probably just. Put it over the top, man. Yeah. That's it. That's all you got to do. I make it sound like it's easy, but
still,
for a guy as talented as him, it can be.
It should be
if he's playing with the type of physicality and stuff that you need there. So,
Yeah, we'll get to your chat, folks, because I got it on my phone. I figured it out. I had to get the chats on my phone. So we will get to your chat, so don't worry. But also, when you mentioned Big Z, just wanted to bring out his stat line. He only had 2 points tonight, 0 of 3 from the field. Did have 5 rebounds, 17 minutes of play, 1 turnover, 1 block shot, 1 steal. So, again, not overly effective there. Brazil played 22 minutes in this game. Only shot the ball 3 times, made 2 of them. So, got 4 points.
He played hard.
Yeah,
I thought he played hard. Not much from Carter Knox tonight.
Nope.
And he had a short leash. He got yanked there early. And then there was, a stretch in the second half. I think what's happening is Billy Richmond's giving them a lot of energy and a lot of defense right now, and he's kind of getting those minutes.
Yeah.
I think is kind of what we're looking at with those guys there. But I keep waiting for Carter Knox to have a breakout, and it's not much doing there so far.
Nope, not much doing. But, Billy Richmond, you mentioned him. At 12 minutes of play, 4 points. Only shot the ball once. Made both his free throws. 2 rebounds out of him. Did have a turnover, but also had a blocked shot. And, of course, the 2 fouls, one of them being part of that double technical. So,
yeah.
But, folks, we'll get to your chats. I want to, of course, give a shout-out to Whitty here, who is, of course, giving us a shout-out here. He says, so effing mad. All this talent and now a Hall of Fame coach, and we still choke. How is it we always get outshined by nobodies? Take it easy, Whitty. Relax.
That's got to be sarcasm, right?
I'm hoping so.
Baylor's, they're a Final Four contender this year. I tried to warn people, like, you cannot look at those opening night results and automatically think a team sucks. Baylor's going to be really good. Missed opportunities. Probably just play a little bit better, like play your B game.
Yeah.
And maybe you win that one. But, I saw a lot of people saying all this NIL and Hall of Fame coach and just the same shit as with Eric Musselman.
I hate people.
It's way too early, I think, to do those things. It's fine to be, disappointed in the way that the game ended and the result and all that. But come on, man, like we don't have to draw any of these crazy big picture things.
Yeah.
I saw some BBN folks in the chat, right as we were getting ready to get started, and it was like, this is why we wanted Calipari gone. You wanted him gone because you didn't want to play in a 40-minute basketball game against a top 10 team on a neutral floor. I thought you say what you want about him and his X's and O's or whatever, and it wasn't pretty in the first half, but he did make adjustments, and it was better in the second half. So I don't put that one on him. I might have gone a different direction with a couple subs in the post late in that game. But at the same time, what are you going to do? Like, Trevor Brazil's completely gassed out there. You either got to go with your 7-2 guy or the dude that's limping around.
Yeah.
So,
Also, this one from Seth. He says, Aduthiero looked great. Boogie Flan went 3 of 5 from three-point shooting 2 games in. I think these are 2 solidified starters. Hopefully Nelly can break through the ice. Offense will be good to go here soon. So you got a little positivity there from Seth.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you also have, I believe, you also got... Eureka Strings, one of our residential commenters here, says, disappointed in the physicality with this team. Says they seem a little bit baby poop soft.
On the interior, they are right now.
They said quit passing around the perimeter is what he's wanting to see. So
yeah, and they were doing a lot of that in the first half. The second half, it was better. All they had to do was just a little bit of that dribble weave action, in the early portions of the offense, or Boogie just like pass to the wing instead of standing there, just cut through the middle of the defense and then spread out to the corner and just, you got to pass them off at that point and get guys in rotations, and you can find some driving lanes. They did that. But yeah, the interior of the defense right now is soft for Arkansas. It is.
Yep, very much so. Also, David says, great talent, learning how to play together still, Hall of Fame coach, what's not to love, major upgrade from last year, I'm still optimistic. So.
Good. That's the approach to take.
Yeah.
And you know what? They've got, what is it, like 4 or 5 games before they go play Illinois?
4 games, yeah.
They're going to get a lot better between now and then.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be pretty at all times, but this is why you kind of play those bye games and everything in non-conference. I like that they tested themselves early, learned a lot, probably a wake-up call and things you got to work on, but also a lot of reasons for optimism. There's going to be good tape when they go watch the film, too.
Yep. Also, Woody says, sorry, I'm just mad my dad never came back with the milk. Love you guys. BBC sucks like Mark Hope.
Hold out hope, man.
Just
hold out.
Just hang out a little bit, man. Just hang out a little
bit.
That
2% is going to get there, man.
Yeah. Also, Jeff says Baylor had much more to play for after getting embarrassed. We had a bad game, still competed. It wasn't a blowout. Which talk about the embarrassment and all that, but as weird as it is, it's like, it's not like you just played so horrible that you looked like you didn't belong on the floor. Yeah. I mean, you were down. I think the most they got down was 11, 12 points, something like that. Mm-hmm. Stormed back, and you tied it. You had your chances. But Baylor's a really good basketball team. I know they got blown out by Gonzaga. People do not look at that and be like, oh, well, this team sucks. It's like, this team's really good, and there's a reason why they're really good, because they have a lot of talent. Wait until you see the bigger body of work, but yeah, it's not like you just didn't even show up to play today. The effort was there. You struggled at times. You were a little clunky at times, but that's going to be fine.
And if you listen to Cal and I think it was John L. Davis and Big Z after the Lipscomb game, all 3 of those guys said the same thing. Like, yes, we saw the result against Gonzaga that Baylor had, And what that means is they got their wake-up call. They're motivated. They're going to have a great week of practice, and they're going to come out looking to play much, much better, be physical, be on the attack, and they were all of those things in this game.
Yep, absolutely. Let's see, we got Porter saying he's like one of Richmond's blocks was after a turnover. Don't usually see a freshman to keep playing and make up for it. Was really good to see. That's what he's talking about from Richmond.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, no, that was really good. That was one of the most impressive plays of the night, besides like everything Thiero did.
Yep.
But yeah, really good from Richmond, man. You make a mistake, it's a bad pass. A lot of guys, especially given kind of where that game was trending at the time, would just kind of hang their head, jog back, look for a coach to sub him out. But yeah, he sprinted his butt back and blocked the shot, and it's that kind of energy that's contagious right now. You're getting it from him, you're getting it from Thiero, and honestly, like the effort, playing hard, all that, none of that's in question. It's right now, it's execution and just being a little bit more physical on the interior.
Yep. Jeff says, how healthy is Nelly? Played hard, but his shot was definitely off. I'm not worried. We'll turn it around when we just get our guys healthy.
Yeah, I mean, he was in a cast for 3 weeks, like leading up to the season, and so it's going to take a little bit of time there. I'm sure he's still doing rehab, trying to if you don't use your legs for 3 weeks, then they're going to lose strength. Same thing with your hand and your wrist, your grip strength. Everything that goes into knocking down shots, it messes up your rhythm. Suddenly you got to use more legs, you got to put more force into it, and it just takes time to make that adjustment. And I think it's impacting the three-point shot right now, but there's a lot of other ways that he can impact the game, that he has impacted the game, that he didn't necessarily do tonight, and a lot of it was on the defensive end. I think that's why he didn't play as much as we usually see.
Got a question from Hayden. Says, genuine question for Coach Kurt, as he calls you.
All right.
He says, I didn't play basketball, so it's just a fan observation. Does it seem like we play a lot of defense with our hands down? Feels like we're hurting ourselves there.
I saw some of that in this game, and I think a little bit of that is fatigue at times. But yeah, I did notice some of that. You got to have those hands up, especially with Arkansas, man. They're so damn long.
I know.
Like, use those suckers, man. But they're really good at challenging shots and altering shots. They get a lot of deflections and steals. But I just think playing defense with your hands up, when you're off the ball or away from the ball, you don't have to just be in a zone to do that, but it just cuts off the vision lanes for the guards and their ability to make some passes in there. But I did notice that at times in the second half, and a lot of times you see it early in seasons, and it's because of fatigue.
Also, Russ is saying, what do y'all think is the best attribute of this team this year?
Well, playing in transition. Offensively, it's transition, man. When they get out in the open floor, they're a lot of fun. And when they get downhill, it's fireworks, man. Mm-hmm. And I do think perimeter defense is pretty good and is going to continue to be pretty good. And I think overall this team could be really solid defensively once they get Adu back to anchor things on the interior.
Yeah, because that's to me that's going to open up a lot of different things for when they get that defense down there, kind of locked down a little bit. Because, again, that's what teams are going to be going up. I guarantee you, Pacific, Troy, all these teams, not saying that they'll be able to match that, but they're going to be like, hey, force Arkansas to shoot threes, try to go inside and get physical with them. Like, that's going to be, and surely, I know Cal knows that. Cal knows that. He's going to have to plan for it and everything. So, the chat's also we just got invaded by the BBCs.
Oh,
here.
good.
So
good to see you guys.
The Smurfs are back, so good to see you guys. Are you guys losing to Duke? I'm pretty sure you are.
Is that when they're going to play the first opponent this season? Is that?
I think it's true.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
No, hey, Kentucky looks good so far. Like, they've done what they're supposed to do. Their offense is fun to watch. It always has been, and good luck to them. But if they're coming in here, crapping on Cal for losing by 5 to a top 10 team, you're just that just proves your obsession.
Yeah,
like, if they would have gotten blown out, or if they'd have lost Lipscomb or something, we would have just had to eat it. But if you're coming in here now, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. Also, this comes from Hayden. He says, do we have a bench guy that can shoot threes? Would it be worth putting him in for some run or changing the vibe?
Oh, any of those other guys? Probably not, because it would be too much of a drop off in other areas. Like, I'm sure Melo Sanchez is a really good three-point shooter, but who is he going to defend, in this game? I think that's the question. Their guy coming off the bench who needs to be hitting threes right now, there's two of them. It's Trevin Brazile and it's Carter Knox.
Yes.
And I know he was talking about deeper in the bench, but I'm saying, like, your second rotation guys, those are the ones who need to be coming in and knocking down shots for you.
Jeff also says, I think they need to just trust one another. When a team hasn't played much together, it's hard to attack a zone. They will be just fine. And also, Finch says, Brazile can hit threes, but doesn't shoot threes, ?
I guess he was told not to.
It's like Cal made that very clear.
He's taking it way too literally. He needs to have that big Z attitude of, I don't care, I'm going to shoot him anyway. But yeah, even the one that he had, it was a great look from the corner, but it was almost like he didn't want to take it as he was taking it. It's like he was thinking about it.
It's like, is coach going to take me out if I do this?
Yeah, I like a lot of the things he's doing, but and he's being more aggressive in ways, but it's almost like he's being too cautious in certain areas when it comes to taking his shots. When Brazile is at his best, it's when he's kind of playing with that chip on his shoulder. He's kind of and I mean this in the nicest way possible, he's kind of a prick on the floor sometimes with the way, like, you know, he plays with some edge to him, man. And we haven't really seen as much of that maybe as we have in the past. Get that going a little bit, and maybe we'll get rolling.
Yeah, Sam is over here saying, he's like, once Adu and Nelly get healthy, we're going to be better. So
yeah, for sure.
Which I'm going to give a shout out, other than the idiot Big Blue Nation people. But Razorback fans, most of you are taking this pretty well. I feel like they're taking it the right way.
Good. People on Twitter were heated earlier, so I didn't know what the chat was going to look like. So
again, you're going to have some that are pretty upset and pretty mad, but then you're going to have others that understand it. But this is why we talk about on Inside Arkansas Live throughout the week, and I know you do your mailbag every day, and talking about this matchup in this game where it's like, nobody should have ever just gone into this game being like, oh yeah, Arkansas for sure is going to win this game. It's like there's no guarantee in that, and there's so much uncertainty. But it's like seeing what you saw here today, and assuming that Baylor's as good as what they seem to be, and why they have that high ranking and everything. I think it's gonna be fine. I think almost Razorback fans see that this is a game that in previous teams in previous years may get blown out in. Like it just may happen that way. So.
Yeah, or they just wouldn't have played it because they knew it was coming in there. So yeah, I agree with you. I mean it's like you said. Well, there goes the undefeated season. Like, whatever, move on.
Can't go 40-0. I was bummed by that.
Exactly.
JP says, thanks guys always for coming with the content. We love you guys. You guys do an awesome job. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that, and it's really cool the number of people that came and just gave us fist bumps over here and stuff on press row. It's really cool, man, when people see us and acknowledge us, and sometimes they might throw stuff at us, like tomatoes or whatever. That's okay because most people are nice.
Yeah, which by the way, just randomly, but apparently LSU fans were pretty pissed about a call in Bama, and guess what? They threw things on the field over a call. So it seems to be the common thing in sports nowadays, just throw things if you don't like things.
I'll tell you what, somebody on this planet put a tortilla down their pants today, and it wasn't either one of us.
It wasn't not yet, but the night's young. We'll see how it goes. Let's see. Jeff says, Curtis, how tall are you, and have you dunked on John before? He probably could.
I'm about 6'4". I have not dunked on John.
Not yet.
Haven't had the opportunity. I try. I don't know. I don't think I could dunk at this stage of my life, though.
You can get closer than me.
My vertical would look like Jonas Adu's did on that alley-oop attempt. So
at least you could make it look like it. Make it look good. May miss it, but at least you can make it look good. Finch says, I'm not mad for losing to a higher-ranked team. I'm mad that we could have won and that we just keep talking about how we didn't have one of our best games. Well, here's the thing, Finch, you have 2 games, man. And you're 1-1. It's okay.
I get it. I mean, I'm a little frustrated by it too because I wish they would have won, but 29 more to play. So.
That's right. Also, Jonathan wants to know, when did Davis hurt his wrist?
It was in practice. It was before they did the tip-off doors thing in Hot Springs and Pine Bluff. It was like a week or 2 weeks before that, and that's why he didn't participate in that. And he got out of the cast or brace or whatever he had on his wrist right before SEC Media Day.
And then Finch is like, no, John, it's 3 out of 4 games, including exhibition. Okay. Relax, dude. Come on now. Kate says,
what is?
It's just, I guess he's talking about more than 2 games. It's been 4 because they played 2 exhibition games. Because those count. Let's see. We also got Kate says, I'm frustrated because it was a very winnable game with how bad we shot.
Understandable. Understandable. Especially when you wind up holding Baylor to like 29% or hell, it was under 30% from 3 overall. And it's like, man, if you do that with those guards, you really feel like you should win the game. And so I get it, man. They had a lot of looks that, need to fall.
Yeah, I got to give them to fall. Also, we got this from David. Says, Thiero, my goodness, he's awesome. And after starting 0 of 9 from 3, finished 5 of 11 the rest of the way for 45%. So,
yeah.
Shot a lot better.
No doubt.
Yep.
It's a very good point, actually. They got to stop missing their first 10 or whatever to start games.
Yeah. But, I don't want to be a thing where it's like, just wait till they get to their 10th one. And then they're fine. That's when it will finally go down.
I love how our thing now is we're firing off the tweets, and you're doing the streak lives, and I'm going the state of Arkansas. Thanks, Adu Thiero, for taking the lid off with a minute left in the first half.
Yeah, it's almost like we're different viewpoints of what we look at there. But let's see. Also, Harold says there's a difference between uncontested kicked out threes and trying to shoot over the zone because that's all you got. So. Referring to Arkansas,
I mean, in the first half, that's all they were doing for sure. And they started getting some better looks in the second half. But, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's kind of off topic, but MB saying Malik Thomas on Monday? Question mark?
Yes.
Eyeballs?
So you have that to look forward to.
Yeah. Getting the eyeballs there, too. Kim says, fist bump to you guys. Gave you a fist bump. That was one of the people who gave us a fist bump.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate it. Okay, Higher Ed guy says, was Boogie playing too much ISO at times? I understand seeing the one-on-one matchup he sees, but just wanted your guys' thoughts.
At times, yeah. And I mean, it's, this is a freshman point guard who is trying to survey a zone defense from a top 10 team for the first time. So there was probably some, some moments of confusion or indecisiveness. And yeah, that happened a little bit too much. It happened too much against Lipscomb too. But I thought it was better in the second half. I really think the key to that is they really have to drill into his head. After you make your first pass, you got to move.
Yeah.
You cannot stand there and wait to get it back. And so what they started doing was he would make the pass, and it was immediately a basket cut. They weren't going to throw you the ball, but then you just kind of rotate out, and everybody's filling in their lanes. It just gets him moving, gets other guys moving. And then if you get back to the top of the key and get it, that's when you can kind of attack. It keeps things from being so stagnant. I would continue to tell him, pass the ball, freaking move right away. We don't care where you go, just move.
That's right. A few more here. Porter says, shot terrible and only lost by 5 away from home. Be a completely different team in a month. So
agreed.
Again, got a guy
we
going
hope so.
on. Yes.
Yeah, but I think that's where this is headed for sure.
Pigpen says, would you agree that Brazil and Big Z are the biggest defensive liabilities at the moment?
No. I might agree with that. With Big Z tonight, it was. I mean, it was a horrible matchup for him, and we've seen how effective he can be in other matchups. Him going against North Shadow Mirror is not it. And then he got switched. A couple of Nunn's threes were over the top of Big Z. He should never be switched off onto a guard like that. And I don't know what the hell happened. I have to go back and watch the film. That was ridiculous that it happened a couple times. But yeah, it was a tough matchup for him tonight. I thought Brazil, he shouldn't have to guard a guy like North Shadow Mirror either. And he got bullied a couple times in there, but he was also pretty effective on him for stretches. I don't know that I'd call him a liability in there.
Also going to read things that compliment us, of course. Razor Shark says, everything you guys do with Inside Arkansas deserves 5 stars. Keep up the great work. It's only the second game. We'll be fine. Thank you, Razor Shark.
Thank you. We appreciate that. We're excited to be here.
That's right. Tucker says, thoughts on the refs? Thought that they let Baylor guards get away with a lot of push-offs here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, some of those, I'm sure that there was some give or take there. But yeah, there were a handful that were, might have liked to. That wasn't the difference in the game.
No. Because here's the thing: is like Arkansas got away with some calls too. It's like that one that looked like completely out of bounds on Arkansas, and they gave it to the Hogs. So the officiating, it's never going to be perfect. But it had its moments, but it wasn't anything that was major as far as this game goes. All right, a few things. Jacob says we haven't had a team run a real offense since Mike Anderson, which is. Excuse me?
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think Mike Anderson really ran an offense.
Yeah.
So
maybe he meant
since before him.
Like he didn't do it and it hasn't happened since him, I guess.
He was the start of the no offense stuff.
Well,
apparently.
They have concepts of an offense, okay?
Concepts of a plan.
But no, I mean, they ran good stuff in the second half.
Yeah.
They did. First half, it was that was enough to maybe piss people off for the whole game. But yeah, the second half was good.
All right, a few more. Luke says 10 points off of wide open blow-by layups were the difference in the game. Big Z has to learn when to drop back to the basket and contest jump shots.
Wait, say it again?
He says 10 points off of wide open blow-by layups.
Yeah.
And said, we're the difference in the game. Big Z has to learn when to drop back to the basket and contest jump shots.
Yeah, he does. And then the guards have to keep their man in front on some of those drives. So, yeah.
That's right.
If you pull, the further you pull Big Z away from the rim, the less effective he is.
Yep.
If he can stand underneath it and block and alter shots, he's pretty damn good there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well,
all right.
Curtis, is that about it? I think so.
Yeah,
I think we covered
they're ready
it.
to get out of here.
Yeah,
So
they are like they're looking at us. They want us out of here.
This guy's been trying to take these cords from it. I feel bad.
I know. No, but hey, folks, real quick before we get out of here, of course, remember Rhoback.com. Be sure to check it out. Hogs by 20 for the promo code. You'll be able to save 20% off your first purchase. It's great stuff. Good apparel. So be sure to check it out there at Rhoback.com. And just because we're in the pot at the palace doesn't mean we're done with the content. We're done with the talking and discussions after this game too, Curtis.
That's right.
You got the
more to
report
come,
card?
man. Yeah, I think I might take a lap around here and do the little report card. Just get it off my chest. I think it's what we might do here. So, that's coming for sure. And then we'll have more breakdowns and everything. And there's more to come. Yeah, a couple games next week, and I don't know, football gets started again for those who care. So
that's right. Subscribe to Inside Arkansas, folks, here on YouTube. Be sure to follow us on social media. Check out InsideArkansas.com, and we're going to keep the content right here at Inside Arkansas. So for Curtis Wilkerson, John Nabors, check you guys out. Appreciate you all, and we'll see you soon here on Inside Arkansas. Have a great rest of your night.